For the Apgar family, a trip down memory lane comes with mixed emotions. John Apgar, a retired judge, his wife Bonnie and daughter Mary Ellen fondly recall happy times in the early years, but those times wouldn't last.
With me as a baby and as a little girl, it's all happy and light, but I can see in the teenage pictures when anxiety and depression started to sit in.
Despite years of counseling, Mary Ellen turned to binge drinking, a habit that forced her to drop out of college. She isolated herself from her sister and parents, who suffered helplessly as they watched their youngest daughter's life spiral out of control.
No one wants to admit their child either has mental illness or addiction or both, but it just became more and more clear. So it really affected the whole family. And it was heartbreaking.
And then a dreaded phone call from a drunk and bleeding Mary Ellen.
I picked up a piece of artwork I had made that had broken pieces of mirror on it, and I put a 6-inch cut in my leg.
The phone rings at 3 in the morning, you know it's going to be bad news. So that really brought it to a crisis point.
The incident landed Mary Ellen in a psychiatric ward, but Bonnie refused to see or speak to her until she had been sober for 30 days, in the hope that if she made it that long, maybe it would stick.
So I stayed sober for 30 days, and to celebrate 30 days of sobriety, I went on a binge.
Mary Ellen woke up in the drunk tank, didn't know how she got there, in the Roanoke City Jail, where her father was at that time a circuit court judge.
I remember the officers coming to get me from the cell and saying things like, well, maybe this will whip her into shape. Because they all knew who I was. They all knew I was Judge Apgar's daughter.
I didn't find out about it until I went to the courthouse the following Monday. And everybody said, sorry about the arrest. And I said, what arrest? You know, and then found out about it that way.
When you're a daddy's girl and he looks at you with just sheer disappointment, you can't unsee that one.
The Apgars responded with the toughest decision they had ever made as parents, withdrawing all financial support from their 22-year-old daughter, steering her towards the Rescue Mission Recovery Program.
As a sitting circuit court judge, I had sent people to the Rescue Mission Residential Recovery Program, so I knew all about it.
I was very afraid of running into someone who knew my dad, and I remember walking with my hand over my name tag so that no one could see it. So it was really embarrassing. It was really terrifying.
It wasn't long before Mary Ellen found herself giving in to the program. She learned to open up and how to deal with things like change and feelings of powerlessness. The mission taught her tools to understand the grip of addiction on her life and for identifying triggers and overcoming harmful behaviors. And she learned to embrace community and the other women in the program.
They became my family. They've got to. It has to. That's what's going to make the program work, is if you become proud of it.
There was unconditional love, support, forgiveness, education, shelter, food. They gave her what she needed, and then she's done the rest.
It clearly saved Mary's life, probably saved Bonnie and my life. So it was just an absolute lifesaver, and made all the difference in the world. I can't imagine what would have been an alternative if it wasn't available. I just can't imagine.
Like her parents, Mary Ellen is grateful for her time at the mission. A 2008 recovery graduate, she gives back by volunteering as a family group leader for women currently in the program.
To one, show them that you can live a life in recovery, but it also helps me to remember if I become complacent, that's when things can start to get dangerous. I love working with the women in the program.
Meanwhile, Mary Ellen has obtained bachelor's and master's degrees from Hollins University, where she works as director of the Horizons program for non-traditional students. But there is no role she holds more dear than her role as wife and mother.
I have a beautiful life now. I have a husband, and I have a 19-month-old baby boy, and I have a wonderful relationship with my parents and with my sister. No one's more surprised than me that this is how things turned out.